If you've spent any amount of time in the social media fitness industry, you've probably heard the phrase ego lifting, which usually refers to people sacrificing proper technique just so they can lift more weight. If you have any amount of common sense, it should be obvious to you that this isn't the best approach to training, and my goal with this video is to explain why that's the case. To understand where ego lifting falls short, let's differentiate external from internal load. External load is an objective quantification of how much weight you're lifting, while internal load is how much stimulus your body receives from the external load. This means that if your goal is to get stronger or build muscle, your goal should be to maximize internal load. External load is only a means to this end, and the less of it you can use, the better. But why should you keep external load as low as possible? Why not go balls to the wall and lift crazy amounts of weight with questionable technique? Surely a high external load equals a high internal load, right? Not necessarily. To give you a concrete example, imagine that your heads hit 10 reps at the same proximity of failure with full range of motion pull-ups and half rep pull-ups. How much additional weight would you have to use for each one? From my own experience, I can barely make it to 10 reps with my body weight doing full range of motion pull-ups. While doing half reps, I'm guessing I'd have to add at least 20 kilos to my body. What I want you to get from this example is that even though the external load is objectively higher when doing half rep pull-ups, the internal load isn't. This is because when you're doing half rep pull-ups, you're missing out on 3 other factors that contribute to internal load: full range of motion, a controlled eccentric, and stretch under tension. You're basically skipping out on all of these just so you can lift more external load and feel stronger than you actually are, which is the definition of ego lifting. If you still don't believe me, try it out for yourself. Do full range of motion pull-ups in one workout and half rep pull-ups in another, and tell me which one gave you a better pump and made you more sore. I could be wrong, and half rep pull-ups could provide you with a better stimulus, and if that's the case, feel free to dislike this video and comment how useless it is, but that's unlikely to happen. In the best case scenario, full range of motion pull-ups will provide you with a better stimulus than half rep pull-ups, and in the worst case scenario, the stimulus that your body will receive will be the same. But even then, full range of motion pull-ups will be the better option. Why? Because lifting less external load accumulates less joint and connective tissue fatigue, which means that you'll be much less likely to run into serious injuries. This is what ego lifters fundamentally fail to understand. By sacrificing proper technique and attempts to lift more weight, they lift what I like to call junk weight. This type of weight doesn't provide you with any more additional internal load than lifting a lighter weight with proper technique. All it provides you with is increased joint and connective tissue fatigue, which can lead to an injury. In short, increasing the external load only makes sense if it's the only method of increasing the internal load. If it's not, which means that your technique can be improved to optimize the internal load, it's junk weight and there's no reason for you to lift it. Improving your technique would be much more beneficial. The only exception that I could think of is if you're competing in strength sports like powerlifting or street lifting. Then you should only do the technique that's accepted in the competition, which usually isn't the most stimulative, but that doesn't matter since maximizing internal load is not your goal. Maximizing external load is. In this case, you should still focus on maximizing internal load when building muscle, but when preparing for a competition, you should only do the technique that you'll use in the competition. Okay, so if our goal is to maximize internal load, we need to perform all of our exercise with the kind of technique that lets us do that. But what kind of technique is that? This type of technique consists of 3 pillars: a full range of motion, a controlled eccentric, and stretch under tension. Full range of motion is defined as the act of moving as far as anatomically possible during a given exercise. If you're able to go below your hands when doing push-ups without experiencing any pain, don't do push-ups on the ground. Elevate your hands above the ground so that you're able to perform push-ups with a larger range of motion. A controlled eccentric means that you simply control the eccentric portion of the exercise and don't let gravity do it for you. Generally, the larger the range of motion of an exercise, the longer the eccentric should be. And stretch under tension means that after completing the eccentric, you should stretch the worked muscle for a second before doing the concentric. This is because there's a thing called stretch-mediated hypertrophy, which states that stretching a muscle under tension can provide additional hypertrophy. To give you some examples, this can mean relaxing in the bottom of a pull-up, row, or push-up, where the target muscles are able to get a deep stretch. This type of technique will allow you to use as little external load as possible while still getting an adequate stimulus for growth, which can decrease your risk of injury and joint and connective tissue fatigue. Another major problem with ego lifting that its poor technique actually stems from is its training philosophy. Ego lifting is all about appearing strong in front of others instead of building strength from where you're currently at, which is simply not a wise approach to training. Be honest, if you were the only one who would ever know how much weight you're lifting, would you really go out of your way to lift more than you should? No, because the positive of other people validating you would be gone, leaving you with only the negative of increasing your risk of injury, making it a stupid choice. This means that ego lifting arises out of a need to outmatch others, which is not a wise approach to any area of your life, because that'll leave you constantly anxious about other people outmatching you. You're literally competing in a dick measuring competition, and even if you win, there's always a possibility that someone with a bigger dick than yours can come and outmatch you. So instead of constantly trying to outmatch others, which is what ego lifting is all about, stay in your own lane and focus solely on yourself. This will leave you far happier and far less likely to get injured than constantly trying to appear stronger than others. Ego lifting can also occur when you're trying to rush progress by not being able to accept your current level. I get it. You want to be stronger than you currently are, which is the reason why you're working out in the first place. But your body will get stronger earth rate that it decides is the best for it, and trying to speed it up is counterproductive. Just like you can't get 9 women to make a baby in a month, you can't expect to progress faster by lifting weights that your body is not ready for. Some things in life just take time, and strength or hypertrophy training is one of them. If you found this video helpful, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and comment down below what kind of videos you would like to see from me more. You can also check the description for the best nap bodyweight exercises for beginners and my Instagram, where I post my workouts and lifestyle in general. And have an awesome day. Peace!